Welcome everybody, my name is Michael or Kubera. Today we are talking about why Bitcoin could have a higher price. Today there is a correction. It went down to $37,000. Its peak was at $42,000 not too long ago. Every single time it goes up, there's going to be a correction because there's people who are just out. That's it. They want to either time the market or they're going to return at a later date because they've made so much money that they just don't care. They doubled, tripled, quadrupled, 10x, whatever it is. They're happy with that because that could be hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars for them. And every single time that happens, there's more people who want to purchase, but there's a problem, especially for newbie investors with Bitcoin. It gets a little bit difficult to purchase Bitcoin sometimes. So if you've never dealt with eCash before, you're going to be like, whoa, this is kind of hard. And then your bank bans these payments, which also kind of gets a little bit hypocritical because some of these banks are making their own cryptocurrencies. Some of these banks like JP Morgan Chase, well, Jamie Dimon, the CEO, came out against Bitcoin so many times. He attacked it. He said it was a big scam. And then they started investing themselves into cryptocurrency. And then they started making their own cryptocurrency. So Chase did block a lot of Bitcoin transactions. They actually even banned people. So if you had huge transactions, sometimes they just ban your Chase account and you had to withdraw your money and that's it. You can't use them again, which probably is a good thing. But anyways, let's roll the intro. Let's discuss a few reasons why the Bitcoin price could be higher, but it's kind of difficult for everyone to use Bitcoin. And these are things that hopefully are going to get fixed as time goes on. It will get easier. As we've already seen, it has gotten easier. But still, let's address it if there's new people out there in the audience. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to talk about fees, which we've already talked about fees, which they always grow as the price of Bitcoin grows. They go down as the price of Bitcoin as well goes down. Some exchanges just leave the fees where it is. But of course, if it is 0.0005 and then Bitcoin goes to $100,000, people are just never going to pay that. So all of the exchanges will have to decrease. And usually there's one or two good guy exchanges which are ahead of the crowd. And that's great. Some people do arbitrage through there, but you don't have to worry about that if you're not doing giant transactions or thousands of transactions. So first of all, one of the most difficult things is actually purchasing it. The reason it is difficult is the newbie websites such as Coinbase sometimes go down. Actually, it happens a lot. If you go to Coinbase's maintenance page, we've already made tons of videos about this. I'm not making another one because every single time the price of Bitcoin goes up, Coinbase is down. And not only Coinbase, but there's other websites and other exchanges that went down, such as Kraken went down and went under maintenance. And some people just suspect that Coinbase does this so people can't sell, people can't buy, and the Bitcoins that are stuck on there is kind of like a bank because a bank never keeps 100% of your money. They take out most of it, they invest with it, they earn a percentage because if they're dealing with billions and billions of dollars, if they earn 10% of that, that's a lot of money. And then they just give you your money back when everything returns. Even within a few hours of maintenance, so-called maintenance, they could be earning millions of dollars. Of course, some people will say it's a conspiracy theory, but I am starting to believe it because every single time Bitcoin goes up, this happens every year. This is a $1 billion platform that's trying to IPO. They have enough money. They have the best engineers. They have the best developers. What is going on? They've had years and years and years of experience to fix this platform, but yet other platforms sometimes work even better than these larger ones. Sometimes it's the simple exchange that does it best. So that is the first problem. Exchange maintenance. The maintenance might last hours or it might last days. So there's outages. Sometimes it gets hacked. Sometimes there's a DDoS attack. All right, so whatever. That's rare. It might happen. Give the benefit of the doubt. Of course, these websites should have protection against that. So the next step, let's say you go to Robinhood or you're trying to buy through PayPal where technically the Bitcoin isn't yours, but if the price is rising and you just want to make some money and then you're later going to sell through the platform, all right, whatever. It's for newbies. As long as you're getting interested in it, sure. So Robinhood and PayPal, well, sometimes they just don't work as well. Maybe your financial institution isn't supported. Maybe you have to go through additional verification. I've had this before where I verified myself, then I had to verify a second time, the same exact details. I don't know why. Sometimes it was within the same day, the same week. So yeah, you have just extra steps which shouldn't be there. There's certain exchanges that won't work with you if you're an American citizen. There's certain exchanges that won't work if you're a New York resident because New York especially has stricter policies. Sometimes if you purchase a transaction through these websites, it'll say transaction pending. And by the time you purchase, the price has already changed because there's such huge fluctuations where it takes them forever that you lost a few dollars here or there. And when you're trying to sell, it's also difficult. I remember Polonix was just a terrible exchange. I tried selling Ripple as it was going up, 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 up. I was super happy, and I was like, well, okay, why can't I sell it? Then it started going down, and I had trouble selling it. I contacted support. Support couldn't get in touch with me. It took weeks. Coinbase also, last time I was telling, because I was banned from Coinbase, couldn't log in, and I still have some BTC in there, which actually probably I should check out how much that's worth right now, because that probably went up in price. But I couldn't get into that BTC, and I contacted Coinbase. It took them months and months and months for them to respond to me, and they still weren't able to help me. So that's great. Then there's also these limits. So if you're a newbie, you can only purchase, let's say, $100 worth of Bitcoin, or $500 worth of Bitcoin, or $1,000. Then you have to wait a week. Then you have to do another smaller transaction. You have to get verified. You have to wait another week, another month, whatever. And before you're able to purchase, let's say you want to purchase $10,000 straight off the bat, it's going to take you a few weeks, and the price will have changed so drastically that you could have gained a few thousand extra dollars if from the get-go you were just able to do it. So obviously there's still some kinks in the armor, but one of the main issues is financial institutions. Your financial institution, your bank, your credit union. I've had this many times before when I was purchasing from all of these exchanges, and then I just started purchasing from Bitcoin ATMs and everything was just fine. As long as the Bitcoin ATM works. One time it didn't work, but I called in support and they fixed it within a few hours. But in America, it's actually a little bit more difficult because they have to verify your ID. Still, ATMs usually should be okay. And obviously these are smaller issues, which means obviously if you are persistent, you will get your BTC. You'll be fine. Sometimes you may lose a few percent. That's okay. You learn which websites, which exchanges to avoid. And over time, these bad exchanges, these crappy exchanges will hopefully go bankrupt, or people will just stop using them, and leading to their bankruptcy, of course. And the better exchanges will be ruling at the top unless they turn into a monopoly and they just raise all the fees on us. But the main issue is the financial institution that if you're trying to purchase with your credit card, debit card, you shouldn't be using credit cards, by the way, but debit cards, or you're trying to send from your bank, sometimes the bank just doesn't accept it because they know you're purchasing cryptocurrency, because they know the company. For example, Coinbase, obviously every single bank knows about it, and they reject it from their own end. So you have to call them, then you have to call Coinbase, then you have to deal with that, and it's just a disaster. So sometimes you have to switch your bank. The best thing you can do is pay in cash. Meet somebody who has it in person, pay in cash, and there we go. But sometimes you will have to pay a pretty high fee for that. So 5%, 10%, maybe even more. Looking at the past, though, it was much more difficult to purchase cryptocurrency. There was a point where you weren't able to purchase Bitcoin. The only way you could get it is through mining it, which you could purchase it from a miner later, but those were the good old days of 2011, 2010. Then you had exchanges falling down like Mt. Gox. So you have less of that, and even if an exchange gets hacked nowadays, your funds will most likely be safe. So a lot has changed. Not everything's negative, but if the process was easier, where for a lot of these newbies, it is quite difficult with verification. And I know it's a simple thing for us, but trust me, if there's a 60-year-old guy who's trying to purchase it, he's been investing in stocks all his life, and suddenly he falls in love with the idea of Bitcoin, but he doesn't use his computer that often, and he tries to purchase it, it's going to take him hours sometimes. And some of these people might get discouraged, some of them might come back later, but obviously it would be better if it was more streamlined. Over time, I think it's going to get better. But now let's get into fees. Here we have an old CoinEx withdrawal fee. So CoinEx changes their fee, and it changes every few hours. So here it is, a deduction of 0.00085. This was when Bitcoin was rising. So every single time that Bitcoin is rising dramatically, the fees will also rise pretty drastically. But this has been the largest withdrawal fee I've ever seen yet, because this equaled around $35 at the time. So with this being $35, it is just absolutely incredible that it got that high. Now, of course, this will be rare because usually Bitcoin's just fine, but then this is more common, 0.00067. And then here I got pretty lucky, 0.00055. And then today I checked when Bitcoin fell down quite a bit. So this is the most recent one, 0.00032. Let's reload. Let's just see what it is currently. Currently, it is 0.00024. Wow. So right now, it's actually doing all right. And that's probably because if we can see, Bitcoin's down 2%. Let's reload. Bitcoin's down 8.75%. That's why it fell down, because as soon as it starts really falling down, that's when the withdrawal fees kind of get a little bit better. But when they're on the rise, this is just absolutely ridiculous. Here we are on Via Wallet, where Coinex is linked up, and usually they kind of explain why. Current best transaction fees, 0.00039. This was almost at 0.001, 0.010 basically, which was insane, because that would have been around $40-something. I'll actually have to think about this, because the withdrawal fees, hopefully they stay down. But this is another reason that people are a little bit afraid. So that was today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please let me know your thoughts on these issues. And hopefully you're able to withdraw your BTC with minimal fees. So thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we shall see you guys in the next video. Daily content every single day. And if you're new, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to my secondary channel. We've hit 150 subscribers on there, daily content on there as well. So thanks, bye.